Welcome back to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I'm Andy Kim, your Dr. Finance. So over the past two videos, we've been going through the evidence against semi-strong for market efficiency, okay, size effect or book-to-market effect, characteristic effect, okay? And then talking about the value effect, right? It was about what? The value investing idea makes money, like Warren Buffett kind of ideas, right? If you think a little more, right, then the book to market or PB ratio is not the only measure that you use in your value investing strategy. What else do you use? Well, for example, other fundamental related variables could work there as well. For example, profitability, gross profitability, which is your gross profit in your income statement. Out of total assets kind of things can work as another fundamental measure. So you can come up with a huge endless list of fundamental variables and then sort the thousands of companies in your own way. Keep on doing it and doing it and doing it. Have some fun here and there. And that's precisely where the quantitative finance is heading. It's a combination of accounting numbers, fundamental related numbers, and then sort the companies in different dimensions and then see if those help you in making money. The idea is better profitability, better fundamentals should get better pricing in the first place. Of course, the semi-strong for market efficiency says what? No, Jose, man, better profitability, the market will immediately and instantaneously understand those fundamental numbers right away it is announced so that there's no room for you to make money out of it. But all those papers, okay, Piotrowski or like, Novi Marx and all those papers keeps on finding that, it's not priced immediately. So that's a quantitative trading strategies going on. Well, we started with the assumption that CAPM is correct. This is very important. What's the benchmark return model? Okay, it was very important. I told you before, you cannot scientifically, directly test whether the market price is equal to the true value, fundamental value of your company. Why? Because the value is not observable, only the price is observable. To test whether the two things are equal or not scientifically, those things have to be observable, but one thing is not observable over here. What the heck? So the indirect approach is used over here. How do you test it indirectly? By using those discount rate model and see whether this discount rate model explains everything so that nothing is left. There is no alpha in it, alpha being equal to 0 or not, right? Our benchmark model that we used as the correct model until now was CAPM, capital asset pricing model, okay? So now you found out the alpha of CAPM is not 0, okay? Is market inefficient? Or is your assumption wrong, CAPM being wrong, okay? Or both. Is CAPM the absolutely correct model of risk and return is a question. Behavioral finance say what? Mispricing. This is an evidence of mispricing because there's no perfect way of getting those risk return model anyway. It's invisible anyway, right? No way. Neoclassical finance have different take on it. Oh, what you found, the alpha being not equal to 0, just tells us that the CAPM is not a correct model of risk and return. Perfect risk and return model is a holy grail that you are constantly in search of those things until you die. Okay? Good luck. As we get more and more sophisticated, we will find more hidden risk factors and we will find that alpha equal to 0. So let's hope and pray the science improves and we find out exhaustively the list of risk factors and beautifully explain everything away. That's their approach. Now, the question, okay, is CAPM the only model? CAPM turns out to be a grandpa model of risk and return. Notice we have been trying to model the excess return of your stock in excess of the risk-free rate or risk-free US Treasury, right? Or whatever safe assets, right? It could be your stock, I, or it could be your portfolio strategy or whatever. But anyway, in the excess return form, right? Excess return. So your portfolio's excess return or stock's excess return should be labeled as, we name it as a risk premium of your stock or portfolio, okay? By decomposing the risk premium, okay, we were trying to understand this and we were trying to model this one. Can't we use multiple factors instead of just a single factor? In CAPM, we were assuming just a single factor over there, market risk factor, okay? For example, if you take a step back and look into the food engineering or, 식품공학과, 식품영양학과, biology, right? Your foods, right? Can be decomposed into a handful of nutrition facts. For example, carbohydrate, 탄수화물, or protein, 단백질, or fat, right? The 지방질, right? Yeah. And then minerals and the vitamins and etc. etc. 지방질, I have to take it out. Anyway, so in food engineering, right? What do? Well, decompose any, food that you eat. Apple, it can be decomposed into what? Carbohydrate X%, X1%, and then protein Y1%, and then fat Z1%. Of course, it will be predominantly this guy. Pizza will be like what? They will have, in the end, it's a composition of carbohydrate and then protein and fat to different degrees. So what do? 단순무식, simple and easy. If you want to eat pizza, we don't have pizza, but here is a carbohydrate for you, and here is, protein for you, and there is a fat for you. Together, eat it. And the nutrition effect for your body will be the same. Great. That's engineering approach. They don't care about the taste or whatever. How do you say? If you watch the movie Ratatouille or Ratatouille, the animation, French animation, I guess, or is it Disney? The rats, the feeling about the taste of being, the very beautiful taste or something like that in your tongue or your psychology. Doesn't matter. Just take it. And then whatever goes into your body, and then it brings your muscle, and then just to give you strength, or you're just good enough. That's engineering, and that's economics. Good. So that's their approach. Forget about the taste. Forget about the psychology. Fine. Whatever food it may be, we can just give me the name of that. I will bring you those decomposition and into the nutrition factors, and then just bring those 3 factors with you, and then that's it. Right. So multi-factor model is brought over here, just like that food engineering idea. Okay. So risk factor. Why do you only talk about the market risk factor? There could be other factors like that multi-factor model. And then 2-factor, for example, you can imagine that, right? A CAPM market risk factor, that's one axis, let's say x-axis. And then another risk factor, maybe a book to market, right, that I liked, right? 루장's, right? Value factor, right? Let's take it y-axis. And then your company's risk premium should be on your z-axis over here. 3D, you can see it. 2-factor model, 3D dimension. Picture, you can draw it. So how much of your risk premium is it in your stock? Well, give me the 2 risk factor and then the 2 risk factor loading. How much risky is it in terms of market risk? How much is your stock in terms of value? Okay? Beta in that. Respectively, there will be betas. Multi-dimensional or multiple regression you are thinking about, right? One-dimensional univariate regression was hard enough for you, but now we are bringing to multi-dimensional regression, okay? Multivariable regression. This is why you have to master the econometrics and statistics to do this quantitative finance or any finance, but anyway. Anyway, the risk premium of any security would be explained by risk factors like a spanning set concept in linear algebra. Oh, spanning set. What the heck? Spanning. You can think about this as a, what is it? Cobweb, right? The spider, not the Spider-Man, like that. But the spanning is like the spider spans web, right? In the whatever dimension it may be. Let's say this is a 3-dimension, so that your fly is somewhere over there with some risk exposure to market risk and then the value risk over there. And then how would you get that one? Well, go to this direction to a certain degree and that direction to a certain degree and capture it. That's it. Okay? So that's the spanning set kind of concept. And then risk premium, like a neoclassical economist. Whatever stock or risky asset you may perceive, but just give me it. Everything will be explained in this kind of systematic manner. Systematic risk. Isn't it systematic? X coordinate, Y coordinate to a certain degree and this and that. Beautiful, right? So that's their approach. Now, 2-factor I told you about. How about 3 factors? Yes, you can do it, right? Factor 2, factor 3. All you need is the factor loading called beta, okay? And then that will be explaining your stock's excess return or risk premium, right? And that is, you can expand into n different factors, okay? Hope and pray that you just find the linearly independent factors like that. And no 2 pairs would be overlapping with each other, or not too much correlated, right? The risk premium of any security would be explained by risk factors like a spanning set concept like this. Now, we talked about 2-factor model. Quite possibly, you can draw it in the 3D diagrams like that, right? But can there be multiple factors, more than 2, right? Let's say 3-factor model, like in Pharma French. Yes, they can do it. 4-factor models, they brought it. And then as they do it, right, they can add more and more factors like that, systematic factors, to explain the risk premium of your stock, right? 탄수화물, 단백질, 지방, it's like a carbohydrate and then protein and then fat, right? Why don't we add mineral or vitamin or other things, right? Quite a systematic manner they will do it. Good, nice try. And then assuming, hopefully, that this alpha will always be 0. Alpha being 0 on average, that will mean that this model is just good, right? And the market is efficient, right? But they keep on finding that the alpha is not 0, no matter what kind of factor model that you use. Some January effect, this kind of things. The alpha keeps on being non-zero. But they keep on doing it, neoclassical finance guys. And then they say this is factor. These are the market factor, size factor, and then value factor. And then factor portfolio is this one, market portfolio in excess of US Treasury. And this is SMB portfolio that I discussed before in that 6 portfolio diagram. And this is HML portfolio, right? Value factor portfolio. Those are the risk factors, right? And the betas over here, respectively, for your own stock. You will have different coefficients, those slope terms, right? These are the factor loadings in the language of, or the lingo of what the machine learning kind of approaches, right? Factor loadings. How sensitive is your stock with respect to this factor portfolio, okay? 3-factor, 4-factor came up. Mark Carhart, who worked for Goldman Sachs later on, came up with this idea, like momentum, let's bring it into this risk factor, okay? How would you explain it irrationally? I don't know what the heck, but just bring it over there. Yeah, just use it 4-factor model. That's their approach. And now, what is smart beta? Okay, this kind of development has been there in academia, but to convince those guys in the industry. Something has to be familiar with those guys, and the guys in the industry are familiar with cap and beta, 1 beta. And then, so let's use that beta word in that lingo, and then they try to sell it in the name of smart beta. If you don't understand this, then you're not a smart one. That kind of impression you give, right? Smart beta, 1 beta, 2 beta, 3 betas, right? Smart beta is the name of it, and this is what you use in your quantitative investment. Quantitative, isn't finance already quantitative? I told you about it, right? The thing is, the researchers in the hedge fund or the academia, they keep on adding new factors, right? New factors. We even call it, there's a paper labeled, titled as a factor zoo. Hundreds of different factors are found in the academic research, and which are overlapping, which are unnecessary. Let's drop it. And all this kind of sorting is going on. And some of them are still surviving, right? And then, yeah, so that's what I say. Discount rate models, right? It's all about explaining your expected return of your stock or your portfolio. Expected return, well, you want to get compensated more than the risk-free rate. And then how much do you want to get more compensated? Well, we call it risk premium. The asset pricing model is about how to model this risk premium, right? The purple part. And the CAPM approach is just use one factor, beta, and the market risk premium part. Okay? That's your company's risk premium. And then multi-factor model is what? Summation of all those factor risk premiums and respective betas for that factors, right? So that's the basic diagram or framework of this risk and return model. One thing I have to warn you is that I do not mean that you will end up with the identical number of expected return. If you use whether you use CAPM or Pharma French 3-factor, 4-factor, N-factor model, would you have to end up with the same expected return? No. Okay. Again, the expected return is something that you are estimating with some error. It's not clearly observable. Okay. It's just one of the attempts to assess those risk and return. Okay. So they will not end up with the same number. That's it. And then smart beta. 이현열 박사님, right, has a wonderful book about it. And by the way, he's a Muay Thai warrior, yes, gold medalist. And then he has a book about R, right? And then he has a book about what? The translation of this book, Efficiently Inefficient by Lasse Heye Peterson. Is newly published these days. And then 강환국 선생님, 할 수 있다 퀀트 투자. And he also has a new book coming up. So those are the interesting ones to see it. So thanks for watching until now. Next video, I'm going to talk about still other evidence against semi-strong form efficiency. There, we're going to talk about the media bubble effect. Gangnam Style, baby. And then those bubbles associated with the attention, not the information. So, thank you for watching.